Hello and welcome. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are enthusiastically preparing for your exam. Just gear up. 11th of March, not very far away. I have brought to you a lot of chapters and their explanations, keywords, and all such at one place. So do follow the channel. The poem that we are taking up right now is My Mother at 66 by Kamla Das. Now, the poem is deeply personal. It's a kind of poignant reflection of aging, uh, separation, filial love. So the poetess, she observes her mother dozing off in the car, and then the look at her face, at the aged mother's face. It's described in a way that she's as old as she looks, and she looks like her face looks like that of a corpse, a dead body. And then she's filled with the fear of separation from her mother. So in order to, be in that denial and be in that, be away from the fear of separation, she distracts herself looking outside the car's window, and then she sees contrasting elements outside, contrasting in a way that whereas her mother is old and she is aged, and she is ring full of wrinkles, and less of energy and enthusiasm. What she looks outside is trees sprinting, because the car is rushing so fast. The trees seem to be moving very fast, so kind of, running fast. The trees running fast, the kids spilling out of their homes. So all these are in sharp contrast to the mother who's old, and these things which are young, vibrant, full of energy. So in order to distract herself, she looks outside, but then she reaches the airport, and she looks at her mother again, and her face is wan and pale and colorless, and she it's like a late winter's moon where there's no luster, no shine. She's very, very old. So but then to have that hope and optimism, she still smiles with the hope that she'll see her mother again, although she has that childhood fear that's triggered in her. उसको this poetess had a fear कि she might lose her mother, and there might be a day that her mother would no longer be with her, but she still continues to hold on to that hope that she would meet her again. So with a smile on her face, the poem ends saying, all I did was smile and smile and smile, meaning she just smiles in a hope to see her mother again, and to hide and suppress that fear that she has in her heart. So we take the poem, the line by line explanation of this poem. Now it says, driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. So the poetess is driving from her parents' home to Cochin last Friday. Cochin, you remember, she's driving from her parents to Cochin last Friday morning. I saw my mother beside me. So while she's driving to Cochin, she sees her mother beside her, doze, open-mouthed. Doze is sleeping. These are the important words that you need to know. Doze, sleeping, open-mouthed. Her mouth is open. Her face ashen like that of a corpse. Now this is a literary device called simile. दो चीजों का कंपैरिजन जब हम as और like से कंपेयर करते हैं दो चीजों को, तो वो simile होता है. So her face ashen like that of a corpse. ये हमेशा के लिए याद रखो, जब भी दो चीजों को as और like से कंपेयर करोगे, that's simile. simile. So her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain. Now she gets that, that feeling, that realization is in her, that her mother is aged and that she was old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. So she realized about her aging mother. She has this sudden moment of realization wherein her mother is old, and there might be a day very soon that she might lose her. But what does she do in order to push that thought away? Now she wants to put that thought away, and looked out at young trees sprinting. Now ये कौन सी figure of speech है? Literary device है? Sorry, literary device है personification. Trees are told to be sprinting. sprint क्या करना होता है, भागना. So because the car is moving very fast, the trees are moving in the other direction. I mean, the trees are stagnant, but because the car is moving fast, ऐसा लग रहा है कि ये पेड़ they are sprinting. So भाग रहे हैं. So ये जो figure of speech है, that's personification. Personification, जब non living things को हम as human treat करते हैं, as person treat करते हैं, वो personification होता है. So young trees sprinting and merry children spilling out of their homes. Merry children spilling out. Merry children spill out, वो fluid की तरह spill हो रहे हैं. So that's a metaphor. The children are compared to are metaphor. They are compared to a fluid that's spilling out of their homes. अब ये दो जो imagery है, ये जो imagery है young tree और merry children, these imageries are in sharp contrast. Contrast मतलब contradictory to her mother. Mother कैसी है? Old. और उसने realize किया है अभी after looking at her mother that she is very very old and she might lose her mother. However, she talks about these distractions which are very young, vibrant, energetic, full of youth and vigor. तो ये जो दो चीजें हैं, tree sprinting, merry children spilling, they are in two sharp contrasts to her mother, aged mother. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I look at again at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon. So, mother again, comparison using as or like को simile कहते हैं. So her mother is as old, as pale as late winter's moon. उसके चेहरे की shine चली गई है. Absolutely colorless face. It looks like जब मून अपने लास्ट फेजेस में होता है, when there is no luster, वैसे her face has become absolutely at loss of glow and youth. And I felt that old familiar ache. अब इस लाइन का क्या मतलब है? old familiar ache मतलब क्या होगा? कभी कभी इस पे क्वेश्चन आते हैं. old familiar ache मतलब इसको ये वाली रियलाइजेशन पहले भी हुई है. She has, it's not the first time that she's looking at her mother and she feels that pain. ये रियलाइजेशन पहले भी है. तो ये जो दर्द है, it's a पुराना दर्द, पुराना सा दर्द है, wherein the mother's age has bothered her. पहले भी she has been bothered by the mother's age, and right now also looking at her, that fear resurfaces. My childhood's fear, but all I said was, "See you soon, Amma," and all I did was smile and smile and smile. तो despite that fear, ये दर्द होने के बाद भी, the fear of separation होने के बाद भी, she ends on a positive note saying that I'll see you soon. Optimistic note, wo she says ke of course I'll see you soon. She holds on to that hope, and all I did was smile and smile and smile. Ek smile, the realization of the fact that there is this pain, and the another smile, hoping that she would see her mother soon, and another smile to show that to hide her pain, to thrust it down her to thrust down that feeling is why she's smiling. So आप देखो, ये पूरी पोम सिर्फ एक लाइन है, और वो लाइन भी खत्म नहीं होती एंड में. देर आर डॉट्स, मीनिंग इट कंटिन्यूज, द थॉट्स कंटिन्यू. द पोम इज दिस मच, द थॉट्स कंटिन्यू. सो व्हाट इज इट दैट वी आर डिस्कसिंग? वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द पोएट्स मदर. तीन फेजेस में ये पोम आप पढ़ो. पहला फेज रियलाइजेशन, लुकिंग एट हर फेस, dull, colorless, as a corpse, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. पहला है realization. दूसरा है, she is in denial. She tries to distract herself. बाहर देख के, बाहर क्या दिखता है, जो चीजें उसके मदर के contrast में है, contradictory है, जो young चीजें हैं, is what she sees outside. However, despite that, she's hopeful that she will see her mother again. She tries to hide that feeling, but she's hopeful that she would see her mother again. तो ये पूरी पोम एक लाइन में है. लाइंस आर रनिंग इनटू वन. एक लाइन एंड पे खत्म नहीं होती, दूसरी शुरू नहीं होती. सो दिस लाइन रन्स फ्रॉम वन, आई मीन द वर्ड्स रन फ्रॉम वन लाइन टू अनदर. दिस काइंड ऑफ अ लिटरेरी डिवाइस इज कॉल्ड एंजैम्बमेंट. एंजैम्बमेंट कहते हैं इसको. सो दिस इज व्हाट देयर इज. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ सिमिलीज as like ashen like that of a corpse, simile. Second simile, as a late winter's moon. Her mother is compared to a late winter's moon. Using the word as is simile. Metaphor कब है? Merry children spilling out of their homes. Let's start again. I'll say simile, her face ashen like that of a corpse. This is a simile. As a late winter's moon. This is a simile. Merry children spilling out of their homes. This is metaphor. Trees sprinting, young trees sprinting. This is personification. Tautology hai, wan, pale. When there are words used, similar words used to describe one idea, that's called tautology. That's there. And there's repetition. Smile and smile and smile. So repeated words. Repetition क्यों है? To enhance the effect of something is why we repeat words. So these ideas are there. इसके अलावा imagery तो है ही. जब भी आप ये सब पढ़ते हो, there's an image that builds in your head. So imagery is also there. There are contrasts there जहाँ पे the mother is old, the trees are young and they are sprinting, the kids are spilling out of their home. तो contrast भी है. Now let's talk about the stanza wise explanation of this poem. Opening scene कहाँ है? The drive of her, although her mother looks like 106, but she is 66, trust me. But the way the poetess describes, it's somewhat similar to the picture that's portrayed. The poet is traveling from her parents' home to Cochin with her mother. As she looks at her mother, she notices that her face is ashen like a corpse, like a dead body. What is a corpse? A dead body, indicating frailty and old age. So she's now old, she's now frail, and then that's how the poet realizes when she looks at her. The poet feels a deep sense of pain. Of course, nobody would like looking at the old mother and having that fear of separation. So she feels that pain and that disturbing thought in her wherein she might lose her mother one day. Now, moment of denial, she, in order to distract herself, she looks outside. Now, you see, look at how the trees are shown. So it's like trees running. The trees are not running. She is crossing that path, and because the car is moving so fast, it appears to be running. So trees sprinting and merry children spilling out of their homes. ये जो दो ideas हैं, it's opposite to how the mother is described. Mother is described as an old woman. Now, to distract herself from her painful realization, the poet shifts her focus outside. She notices young trees sprinting, merry children spilling out of their homes. These images symbolize youth, energy, and life, contrasting to her mother. Now, but after reaching the airport and clearing security, the poet looks back at her mother. She now sees her mother's face as wan and pale like a late winter's moon. So वो चेहरे का glow नहीं है. The mother looks old and she doesn't feel nice about it. But this reinforces the imagery of weakness, old age, and approaching death. तो ये सब देख के भी, she feels that her mother is old and, she's aged. The poet feels a familiar childhood fear. उसको ये fear, childhood fear है to be separated from her mother. So she has that fear of being separated, and that fear resurfaces when she looks at her mother. However, instead of expressing anxiety, she smiles continuously and says, "See you soon, Amma." The repeated smile acts as an emotional mask to hide her pain and reassure her mother. तो उसके लिए reassurance नहीं है, to her mother is also a reassurance. She holds on to that hope. She tries to hide that pain. Now, literary devices. Simile, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and like the late winter's moon. ये दोनों similes हैं. It talks about the old age of the mother and how that comparison is made to a dead body and then to a late winter's moon. Personification, young trees sprinting is personification. Imagery क्या है? Children spilling out. Also, this is also a metaphor. So यहाँ पे this is a metaphor too. Metaphor. ये जो idea है, this is also metaphorical, wherein they are uh, compared to a fluid that's spilling out of their home. Symbolism, late winter's moon. The moon symbolizes her mother's aging, dimming vitality, and impending death. Enjambment, मैंने बताया, जब words एक दूसरे को, it runs into one line to another. There's no end to that sentence and the next sentence begins. The words run from one line to another. That's called enjambment. So this is what it is about the literary devices. Let's see if there are more. So yes, character traits, no, there are not. So characters जो हमने लिए हैं, the poet Kamala Das, she's sensitive, she's introspective, she looks into herself and introspects and realizes and thinks about, she's thoughtful, she's emotional, she's deeply attached to her mother, and she just looking at her mother's old age, she is emotional about it. The mother, the way she's been described, she's fragile, aged, and quiet. She does not speak much. It's the poetess who speaks in the poem and not the mother. Children's and trees sprinting, they are in contrast, sharp contrast to her mother's stillness, emphasizing the cycle of life. Theme of aging and mortality है. Theme क्या है? Age and mortality. Men are mortal, they will die one day. So इस theme को has been explored. Fear of separation and loss भी है. The poet is scared to lose her mother. Contrast of life or death. Life किस किन चीजों से सिंबलाइज हो रहा है, the tree sprinting, children spilling, or death, the mother, the way she's described, her face is described, is more symbolic of death. Repression of emotions, instead of expressing her deep sorrow, she tries to suppress that feeling, so she chooses to smile. This smile symbolizes an attempt to hide her grief. So thank you. I hope it helps. I really, really do hope it helps you all. Keep watching, keep benefiting. If there's a doubt, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice day.